my dad changed all our names to westernized names when I think it was in 1987, we were becoming citizens. I was Stephen for almost 40 years of my life. I was Stephen Knight.
No way.
Yeah. I always kid. I was like, it really got, it helped me through 9/11. I didn't have to face any at the airports. TSA never messed with me. They're like, oh, Mr. Knight, right this way. Mohammed, that door, please. Um, so I kid about that, but I know I'm all over the place. So we go to Greece.
Wait
Uh,
1 second. Wait 1 second. You said you were Steven for 40 years. At home, were you also Steven, or at home were
no,
you Mustafa?
no, Mustafa, yeah.
So at
My
home, you were.
siblings called me Steve. Well, they didn't like saying Steven. They called me Steve, which I hated. Do I look like a Steve? No
No.
offense to Steves out there. Yeah.
Jeez.
But
So
yeah,
how
my mother called me Mustafa. Um, some close friends called me Mustafa, but a majority of people, 95% called me Steven.
did you understand what was
Yeah,
happening at
yeah.
JFK?
I think, yeah, I mean, it was even funny because my father, during, era, because shortly after the Iran-Iraq war, the U.S. invaded Iraq in the Desert Storm in 1991. So there was this growing sentiment of they're terrorists, they're bad people. So my dad used to tell us to lie and say we're not Arab or Muslim, that we're Greek, because my dad spoke Greek and I knew a little Greek. And sometimes people think I was Greek. I was like, yeah, Tikanis, like. um, so growing up as a child, I had this dual identity. It was very confusing. Not only did I have a different name, but I was with a girl, my high school sweetheart. We almost were together for almost 10 years. For the first 4 years of being together, she thought I was Greek.
Wow.
And I remember telling her one day, I was just like, I gotta be honest about something. I mean, can you imagine? We were kids. And she was beautiful. I mean, she was half Filipino, half white. So from Greece, we came to Ellis Island of the Arabs, which is Dearborn, Michigan.
Mhm.
Um, I was there last year for an Iraqi wedding.
Largest
Right.
population of Arabs, right, in the States?
I think so, yeah,
Yeah.
Dearborn. We were there for 9 months. We lived, I believe, on 8 Mile. I remember my dad's like, we're getting out of here. And we had a station wagon. Kids don't know what that is anymore, but we had a station wagon with the wood panels. We jumped in there, 4 kids, and we were leaving Detroit, Michigan, at Dearborn. It's a suburb of Detroit. And it's a suburb, right, of Detroit? Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, he goes to a gas station and he's like, what's the nicest place to live in this country? And the guy says San Diego. And my dad's like, we're going to San Diego. Also, like, let me frame that. What's the nicest place where there's more Iraqis and, like, because there's a big Iraqi community out there as well in El Cajon area, La Mesa. So then, yeah, we found ourselves in sunny San Diego. And that's why we went through elementary, started high school there. Um, as Stephen Knight.
I was about to say that as Steven.
And the Iraqi, like, I didn't have I didn't have Arab friends a lot growing up. Not by choice. I think with a name like Stephen Knight, we never connected. Funny enough, I
Mm.
was playing an Arabic song yesterday in my car. I was picking up my daughter, and I could tell this was this Iraqi boy because I was just bouncing like this Iraqi music, and he's on his bike with his friends, and they're the bike lane, and he stops, and then he rolls back, and I was confused, and so he's in the blanket, so I look over, and he goes. And then I was like, I didn't understand it at first. And then his friends started talking. And then when he pulled away, he made a U-turn, pulled away, he looks at me and he does one of those again to me. Then I got it.
Mm.
He was so proud to hear something that was familiar to him in this state, in this world, right? And I remember that as a child, like when I heard Arabic music and stuff like that. I never grew up in an Arab world. So I'm pretty westernized, right? I'm pretty westernized. When I first touched down in the Arab world, and the first time I went was in 2007, I went to Dubai for a festival, film festival in Abu Dhabi. I, I, I had this like, why do I feel like I'm at home? Why do I feel like I know this people? I know this culture. I know everything. I don't even speak Arabic that well. Like, you know what I mean? And that was so beautiful. That was so beautiful that I got in touch with that. So yesterday, when I saw that kid, it dawned on me. I was like, ah, it's happening to him what happened to me. Like I grew up in this country, so distant, so far from my culture, that when I heard something, when I felt, picked up something that reminded me of home, it just had that good feeling. First I thought he just, I don't know. I honestly was confused. I didn't know what he was going after, but I was just like, oh, that's so beautiful.